challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
And talking of too fast and too tasty, Ben Sissels alongside me, Jonathan Green, and it's not just Mission Chips. Ben, how's your day been? And a beautiful shot there of Austin City with the airport just between us, actually.
Yeah, I love coming to Austin. And speaking of the Mission Foods Austin SpeedTour,
yep.
Every time I see that commercial, I think, oh, I'm going to go have Mexican tonight. And what a great city to have Mexican in.
He's doing his job then.
Yeah, exactly. It's working.
Now, you would like to put up a flag that big, wouldn't you?
I would, yeah. But I love that they put those up. I saw we've been here the last 2 days, and there were just the poles. And I'm so happy that they put those up. We've got the Lone Star flag. I'm not sure what turn that is, but I know the American flag is. So that's at turn 10.
Yeah.
And
or that's where you could see it. Anyway.
Yeah, and then the American flag is at turn 1. But some beautiful shots here. Look at that.
That's a great shot. And here is the latest driver to join us in F4. His name, Ariel Elkin. I've been learning all about him. He's a young teenager from Israel. And very few Israeli drivers, and he's got the full support. Look, he's got his American flag and his Israeli flag on the front wing there. Good for him. And had a nice chat with him and his dad. Interesting guy. He has been racing in Formula 4. He's pointing to he's very proud of his Israeli heritage. Obviously, he's been racing in Europe. But there's not too many places to race in Israel, as you can imagine. And in fact, he grew up racing mainly in Europe. His father's Russian, so he's also speaks Russian. He's done a bit of racing there too. But he is really excited to be here. And so is this man, Augusto, Oggy, as he's now known. I've now been put right because he doesn't call himself Augusto. He says that's a bit too formal. So Oggy is the name. And Mr. Oggy Sotoshripa had a fantastic race in the previous race. He was in every shot that we could deal with. It was awesome.
I love when he gets on the podium. He's so excited on the podium.
Yeah.
John Phippen when he's interviewing him, and he usually seems to have a big family there. So it's really cool to have him out here doing really well. But I love when the drivers get on the podium and they're also excited.
Yeah, it's really cool. I want to celebrate with them. That is that iconic shot around. They've renamed that triple apex.
What is it?
It's now called McConaughey.
Oh.
After Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Well, that is, because it's all right.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
You see?
Your future governor, Matthew McConaughey.
That's him. Yeah, right now he's just trying to see if Texas can win at football. Jesse Lacey from Melbourne in Australia. Looking forward to him. Met his dad today and had a good chat with both of them, and really enjoying time here. And the Australians seemingly having a good single-seater crop at the moment, given that we've got Oscar Piastri now in Formula 1. Obviously, we've got Daniel Ricciardo in Formula 1. But now we've got a host of young Australians like Jesse Lacey and many others, to be fair. We've got another one. Daniel Quimby arrived today. There's Daniel. Talking another Daniel. That's Daniel Cara, the Brazilian-come-American. Really fun guy to be around, and looking forward to seeing what he can do. He was just off the pole for the previous race, for the first race. But as we said, the race grid for this race is based on the fastest lap of the previous race. So Daniel Cara will start fourth. He got fourth
on new
time.
tires.
On new
it's
tires.
The first one I've seen with new tires, I think.
Yeah, they don't. I think they only get two new sets at each weekend, and I think it's going to be interesting to see who's got what. There's that flag you were talking about. It's a wonderful shot, that, especially when the sun's going down. This is a golden hour here at the Circuit of the Americas. My director particularly likes this time, especially when the sun's just going down. Likes to wait as long until he can to see the whole sunset, because it's very important here in Austin. But it will be Ariel Elkin who starts in pole, and then Augusto Sutoshripa, the man we just mentioned from Doral, Florida, is also lining up alongside him, and that's two international motorsport guys on the front row. But here's your champion, Patrick Woods-Toth. Very, sort of not shy, that's not the right word, but a quiet assassin, I would say, in terms of his driving, because he has been just that. He started the weekend some 66 points, 0.5 ahead of everybody else. So he really only needed to finish. He got a third, he got on the podium, and is our new champion for 2023. So well done to him. Great to see Canada. And talking to Canadians like Scott Goodyear, our race director, Ron Fellows, who also is one of his sponsors, and how they kind of discovered him, because he went karting there. And they immediately said, boy, we got some talent here. We need to nurture this guy. So he's high on the list of potential Canadians to follow in the likes of Latifi and Lance Stroll.
So the car in front is on new tires.
Yep.
And then the number 16, Jesse Lacey, is obviously on new tires.
Yeah.
I saw Patrick Woods-Toth on brand new Hankook tires. And so this is going to shake out pretty good, because some of the other drivers are opting to bring out their brand new tires for the next race, which will be tomorrow. But I feel like we're going to see some good mixing up here in this front 10, Jonathan.
Yeah, it should be fun. And if the first race was anything to go by, this should be really good. For example, Patrick Woods-Toth doesn't start anywhere near the front. He's in 8th position. There's a battle on for the runner-up spot in the championship, and that is between America's Michael Costello for J-Howe Driver Development and Titus Sherlock from Prosper, Texas for Crosslink. So that's a good battle, and the advantage at the moment is definitely with Titus Sherlock, because in the previous race, they started the weekend on equal points, but in the previous race, Titus Sherlock did a brilliant job of starting pole and holding off a hard-charging, well, about 3 or 4 different drivers trying to have a pop at him. There's that flag down at, yeah, it is 10. Well, yeah, not far off. 7, I'll say 7. I'll cut the difference. Yeah, it's 6 or 7. End of 6, there you go. But watch out for that. Titus Sherlock starts 5th, and interestingly enough, Michael Costello starts 7th. If you have been tuning in earlier, you'll have heard the words of both Titus Sherlock and of Michael Costello, because they joined me here in the commentary, so it was great to get to know a little bit more about them. Both very interesting characters. Titus from San Diego in California, but now out of Prosper, Texas, which is why he runs for the Texas-based Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport team. And if you're confused by that, don't be. They are a bunch of Kiwis, but they base themselves for the American Championship in Dallas, hence the combo there, if you like. Titus, that's the obvious team for him. And there's the Buell team, 2 Argentinians in that, and that's an interesting. Scudare Buell. Now, you know your motorcycles. That's an American motorcycle, but not in Argentina. Did you know that Juan Manuel Fangio, the last great Argentinian, I would argue, in Formula One at least.
Yeah, I think Messi and Maradona might argue with
yes,
that.
but racing driver. But Fangio, I didn't know this, in 57 and 58 drove for a team called Scudari Buell.
Wow,
in
that's
Argentina.
Pretty cool. Now, something we haven't seen all season long, Jonathan, is the conditions are absolutely perfect out here, except the sun is going
right
down.
In their eyes.
And these are open wheel, open cockpit cars. Let's see who has the little shade over their helmet. And when they come into turn 20, that's going to be quite vicious.
And turn 12 here.
Yeah. So when they come off of the fastest spot of the track, they're looking right into the sun, and just off to the right of them at turn 20. And they are not used to racing at this time of day. We have daylight savings time tomorrow night.
Oh, gosh.
So we're going to see what happens here and see who adjusts the quickest here as they come up in this formation lap. You can see they're trying to slow way down, trying to get the orders correct. Not sure what's happening.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if anybody's made a mistake and not put the right visor on. But I'm looking at most of them, and they're all fairly dark, which is what you need at this time of night, because you're right, we're getting very close to sunset, and it's pretty piercing here. I did a lot of shooting when the circuit was being made, and I would come out at this time of night just because of the light, but it's blinding.
Yeah.
There's that triple apex. 16, 17, and 18. So
I think
famous.
it should be officially Matthew McConaughey. That's amazing.
Triple, yeah.
Because he lives here.
He does live here.
Teaches here.
Teaches here. He runs a film class. I actually spoke to one of his students. I said, how is it? She goes, yeah, it's kind of cool. I was like, yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Barefooted McConaughey wandering in on a Monday morning. Hey, students.
Like, if you were filming a movie, this is the light that you want.
Oh, God,
If
yes.
you're driving a race car, this is not the light that you want. And I see the pace car coming back through. What's happening here?
It's interesting. Yeah, he is. He's going for another lap.
I'm going to switch off and listen to racing.
Okay, you carry on. I will tell you more about the grid. So, as I mentioned, it's going to be Ariel Elkin of Haifa. That's the reason being there's a car on track. I've just found out, Ben. You're all right. There is a car stuck out on track. So if they get that going again, we'll get going after that. But for now, Ariel Elkin of Haifa in Israel starts from pole. He did a fastest lap of 2:16.5. And therefore, watch out for the 18. But his teammate can run effectively wingman for him because...
Let me interrupt real quick, because what's happening, I'm hearing Scott Goodyear. The leader thinks they're doing a standing start. Nobody's told him to follow the pace car.
Wow.
You can see number 24 here waving at him, go, 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 but Jesse Lacey behind him. So we're not sure what's going to happen here, but he needs to go. His radio team
all the other
needs to tell him
drivers
to
are
go.
telling him to, and he may not have radio contact. This is his first race weekend, poor old Ariel. Nice kid. I met him earlier. The go-karts are in full swing. But unfortunately, the pace cars took off, and our pole man has not been aware that he has to follow the pace car because he's not aware. Now he's got it. Okay, good. They've waved him forward, and now everybody else can go forward. No harm, no foul. So once again, we warm up the tyres. As I mentioned, the two international motorsport guys start on the front row. There was just less than 2 tenths between them in the fastest lap. Jesse Lacey of Melbourne, Australia for Crosslink Kiwi starts in 3rd position. Daniel Cara of the Woodlands in Texas. And Tenuta Foppi and Ambrosi, what a great sponsor, is his in 4th position. Behind him, Titus Sherlock, winner of the first race from Prosper, Texas, lines up 5th for Kiwi Motorsport. And then Keke Juanio of Plant City, Florida, lines up 6th. Michael Costello is 7th. Our champion, Patrick Woods-Toth from St. Lazare in Canada, Quebec, is in 8th position. Daniel Quimby, first weekend for the Australian from New South Wales and Doran Motorsports Group, starts 9th. 10th is Tyke Durst for Ganella Racing. Bacon Zelenka is in 11th place. Then Alex Benavides of Naples, Florida. That's a nice little number of folks from Naples, Florida, because that's also where Michael Costello's from. So there's a nice little group there. And then you've got Christian Cantu of Mexico, from Torreon in Mexico for Scuderia Brule, and he got 2 wins at the Mexican Grand Prix in F4 in the Mexican Championship, and said, right, I'll try my hand here in America. And here he is, just 16 years of age. Hannah Greenmeyer, one of the few female drivers. She starts 14th from Parker, Colorado for Crosslink Kiwi. Then it's Pablo Jose Benitez from Port Orange in Florida. Luciano Martinez in 16th place. James Lawley just behind him, and following that is Landon Matriano Lim from Shreveport, Louisiana for Jensen Racing. Barrett Wolf making his debut from Las Vegas. He's actually at college in Las Vegas. Jet Bowling lines up 20th from Dallas, Texas. Ava Dobson, our other female competitor, she is just 15 years of age, starting out with Jay Howard Driver Development, her first season. And then Zabin Jai of Glenhead, New York, starts 22nd. Christopher Paris, 23rd. Tanner DeFabis, who had an off in the previous race, or a spin at least, in 24th. Michael Boyadis, who had damage to his wing last time out, also for Jay Howard. And Eric Wisniewski, who had a spin last time out, starts 26th. And that makes sense, given that this is based on the fastest laps of the previous race. Now, hopefully, the pace car will come off this time, and we will go racing, because we're running out of light, folks.
Yes.
No lights on these cars.
I've heard that we are doing a standing start still. The car is there just in front of turn 12, but the safety crew is there quickly, and they're going to be able to move that car off, and we're going to be able to do a standing start. But that's why you see the pace car going slow, to bring the field up and to give the safety crew enough time to clear. But look at the light here. It's unbelievable.
It's beautiful, yeah. Great time of night. And it's a great place to see from above. The drone really gives you the scale of this Texas circuit, and wherever you're watching around the world, this really is a spectacle. And obviously you tune in to watch Formula One or MotoGP. Next year we've got NASCAR here. We've also got the World Endurance Championship, a 6-hour endurance race on Labor Day. So doing my little plug for the Circuit of the Americas, because I am based here in the city of Austin, just in the background there. And I've watched this grow and grow and grow over the last 11 years, and it's been magnificent to see. It's also been really interesting to see the youngsters coming through, like Ryan Sheehan, who started right here in Formula 4, runner-up in the FR Championship. But we've got plenty of other young Texans like Jet Bowling coming through, and many others. So delighted to see these youngsters making their way, and now with a circuit to show them. And we were talking about the light, and you can see here that turn 20 is in the shade. So that is going to cool down turn 20, and drivers, like we've talked about, they're not used to racing, and you can see the whole front straight is shady, but that really doesn't matter for grip levels. But if any of these turns like turn 20, which is a high-speed corner, are shady like that, that is going to change how the tires grip the track. So we might see some excitement here in the F4 U.S. Championship. It's round 17 at the Circuit of the Americas. You're absolutely right. And if there is, for example, a safety car, because that often happens in a big field like this, those tires are going to go quickly, lose temperature. So they'll want to get this started as quickly as possible. A massive moment for Ariel Elkin of Israel, starting on the right-hand side for International Motorsports. He was, I think, 7th in the Italian F4 Championship, and he felt that the competition in Italy was a little higher, but that's not surprising. It's always high in Italy, and so he's throwing his hook and trying to come out here to America and race, and he's starting from pole, and this is a great opportunity for him. In a moment, the lights will go 5 red, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out go the lights. Away we go then. And a good start from the Israeli as he comes across the track to defend his position. He's going towards the racing line. Meanwhile, his teammate, Augusto Soto Shripo, is trying to defend from the 16 of Jesse Lacey, the young Australian, looking very strong at the start. It's side-by-side action as they head down towards turn 2. But out front, it is Ariel Elkin leading the way. Great start here as they snake through the Hankook S's. Really got a great start there, did Ariel, but man, that fight pushing Jesse Lacey over into the... Oh, Lacey's round! Oh, poor man. Jesse Lacey, the young teenager from Melbourne, Australia, just locked grip, and that's exactly what we were talking about. The tyres just not quite there, and he thought he maybe had more than he did, and he lost it. What a shame. What a shame, and what a kind of an agreeable spin, just a long, casual spin. He did a good job of just kind of turning into it, but here come the leaders here through the hairpin section. Yes, it's actually called the bobby pin because after Bobby Epstein, the owner of the circuit, and very dusty down there, especially offline. And now you see what we were talking about. Even our cameraman struggling to keep the sunlight out of their eyes, but it's a lovely shot. But it's not going to be easy when you're about a foot off the ground and heading down there. But Augusto Soto Shripo, or Oggy as he's called, in the 24 in second place, did a brilliant job at the start there to hold off the chasing pack, including Jesse Lacey. Meanwhile, here we go, Woodstock in that black helmet, the number 27 grey and orange, dives into position there. He's made up a couple. And we're keeping an eye on Titus Sherlock and Michael Costello to see where they pop out. Sherlock at the moment in 5th place, Costello still 7th. Side by side though, to Ganella and the 42 of Daniel Quimby, the new boy from New South Wales in Australia. It's great to see so many Australians here. They've never had a really strong single-seater championship in Australia, which is why the V8s and the Carrera Cup are so popular there. So most of the Australians travel, and they travel around the world and here in the States. It's great to have as many as we do. We've had Josh Day, who's been a champion in F4 and also did really well in FR. He's now, I think he's still around, or he might have gone back to Australia, but a great kid and a worthy champion in F4, that's for sure. So crossing the line now, Elkin leading the way in the 10. His lap, I'm just trying to look at the laps. No times yet on the board for that. Whoa, locking up big time. The 17 of Tyke Durst. Just locking up at the top of the hill there under pressure. Under the bridge and into the S's, the Mission Food Esches.
Tyke Durst and Daniel Quimby going at it this race. They come through here, the Hankook S's, and you can see Quimby and Tyke Durst going at it there.
I'll get your corners right. Yes, Hankook S's.
And this is so much fun to watch. Just like in the other racing we've been seeing this weekend, it's pack racing. So there might be a great race for the front 6, and then the next 6, and the next 6, and it's just really, really fun to watch. But look for Augie to try to poke his head out. And I'm not sure about that Jesse Lacey spin. Did you see, was it assisted, or do you think that was just by himself?
I think it was by himself, you know. It didn't look like he got hit. He didn't, you know, the car didn't move as though it had been hit from behind or anything. It just looked, and like you said, it was a slow progressive turn, which makes me feel that he just was gradually losing grip and just couldn't hold it, and did a really good job of just spinning slowly out. And so that's my opinion, but we'll see. And let's see if he can come back into the action. It's a 30-minute race, and you can see the clock in the top left as we take a look for the first time at Bacon Zelenka of Lyons, Illinois.
That's Alex Benovitz in the number 14. I like the livery of his car, but this Quimby and Tyke Durst and Benovitz and Zelenka, that is looking like it's going to be a really good battle here.
Yeah, and just behind them is the Mexican driver Christian Cantu, who's showing me his pictures of him taking, or Carlos Slim, one of the wealthiest men in Mexico, taking a selfie with Christian Cantu at the Mexican Grand Prix. And if you don't know, Carlos Slim has been responsible for funding a lot of the Mexican drivers, including the current Checo Perez. So there you go. Good guy to have a selfie with.
Yeah.
Adam 20, and it's getting dark down there, but Elkin still leading the way. Does a 2:17.5. Now we're getting some times on the board. So a good start from the 18 of Ariel. And now we've got jostling for position. That's the 31 of Titus Sherlock, winner of the first race. Just behind, at the moment, Woods Toth. And Sherlock dispensing of the competition for a moment. Oh, he's side by side. As we look down below, look at this. As they come into the S's, something's got to give. Titus Sherlock just gets the advantage, but you can see how close it is. Really good racing between these two. So Sherlock, Costello. And, of course, that's the battle for second in the championship. That's why it's so close. So don't be surprised by that. That is for what has been a all-season-long battle. The championship wrapped up with Woods top, but it's still on for second place. And at the moment, it's Sherlock and Costello glued together in 5th and 6th. Sherlock in the 31. There he is. And right behind him is the 19 of Michael Costello of Naples, Florida.
As they come down this long back straight, this is where the draft really comes in handy. It's almost like DRS to these F4 cars.
Exactly, yeah.
And you can see them snaking left and right, trying to get the driver behind him out of the draft.
Now, let's see if Costello does the move here, because we were he was doing great commentary about this, and now he's just done what he's talked about, and he's made it stick. That was tough. And if he keeps his foot in here as they head towards 13, he's pulled it off. That was great racing. But look at this. Back comes the 31 of Sherlock. Oh, you don't often see anybody try to go around the outside of 13 or 14. Now he's gone the inside of 14. And he's got overtaken again, and he's taken the other one wide. Costello and Sherlock side by side as they go into McConaughey Complex.
Some fantastic wheel-to-wheel racing here, and this is the race that really matters. You know, we're going to cover who's in first, second, and third, but this is the battle for second in the championship, and with only one race left in F4 tomorrow, this is the race to watch, Jonathan.
Yeah, and it's going to go to the wire, especially unless they take each other out right now, because the advantage is with Sherlock having won the race. Costello was 7th in that first race earlier today, so they are going at it, hell-bent for leather, which is great to see. I just hope they don't come together at any point. We're watching Costello ahead of Sherlock now, so he's got ahead of him. After all of that, they've sorted themselves out, but will they stay there? No way. Here comes Sherlock again. Now, through the S's, this is where it was so exciting. This is where it started off last time as we come through the Hankook S's. Nice sign. Who put that there?
I think, look, everybody's getting a little bit squirrely through the S's, and that might be because that part of the track is in the shade, and the conditions have changed drastically since these gentlemen were on track. Drivers were on track just a little bit ago.
Yeah, and what they've got to be careful of is they hope they don't have a safety car, because then the conditions will really get tough out there, because it's just getting colder and colder. And once the sun drops here in Texas, it goes quick. And once it's gone, it gets cold quick too. Patrick Woods-Toft jinks out, has a look at the 10 of Cara. Daniel Cara, really impressive. Just missed out on the pole at the beginning of the weekend by 0.006 of a second to Titus Sherlock. And since then has been trying his darndest to get right up there.
The man from Woodlands.
Great battle for first. And this is between the two international motorsport men. And this is going to be interesting, because Oggy has done his job, which was to help the pole man get away effectively. I'm sure that was a discussion they had. But there's certainly not any team orders, because neither of these two are potentially going to change the championship. Although the man on form at the moment, a lock up there from Elkin, is definitely Soda Shriepa. He was on the podium last time out, and he would love a win himself this weekend.
Jonathan, earlier today you did a great grid walk pointing out that, yes, the U.S. Championship is really a huge international match. We have so many drivers from different countries, and that's so cool to see.
And you know what? That's good for American drivers, and it's good for the international drivers, because, you know, what you want as a kid, and certainly if your parents are putting the money in, you want to race against the best you can find. And I've spoken to a couple of the Mexican drivers, a couple of the Canadian drivers, and the Australian drivers, and all of them have said this is where they want to come racing, because their national championships aren't as strong as they would like. So that makes sense in a lot of ways, and so that's good for us. And, you know, it's good for the future of this sport. And Tony Pirelli, of course, the owner of both FR and F4, because this is just starting out. The Our championship started, in 2018, and this championship, 2016. And we're getting a brand new car next year from Ligier, tested by Ryan Yardley at VIR, and so far so good.
It's fast.
That's all I've got, yeah. It's an interesting sounding car, because it's a V4, but very, very interesting. So big things happening, and exciting times for single-seaters in America. Now, any change at the front? Well, there's battles everywhere. Here comes the 29 of Juanio. Got a chat with him at VIR. Interesting kid. Just trying to get a pronunciation of his name.
Yeah, and even when he tells me 6 times, I still can't get it right.
I know, I'm the same.
But look at these leaders again. Let's see if the Augie has anything for Ariel Elkin, all the way from Israel. And you said this is his first time with us in F4?
It is.
That's exciting. Welcome. He's doing really well.
Yeah, you know, and he's pretty confident. You know, we were joking about the fact that I knew 2 other Israeli drivers, and both of them have been successful. Ido Cohen has made it up to, I think, F2, and Roy Nassani was actually a reserve driver for Williams. So that's the only 2 other Israeli drivers I've ever heard of.
He's going really deep in that Mission Foods Stadium complex, but look at this, coming through 19, carrying it down the hill, back up the hill, straight into the sun. And Augie has maybe a little bit later on the brakes, but it seems like Elkin can get off the turn a little bit faster.
Yep, and I think that's going to be the tone for the rest of it. Ariel was involved with a great battle with Jesse Lacey in the previous race, and more of the same, please. And I had to go over and meet him, and I met his dad, and I met the team, and yeah, it was really cool. Nice guy. And
speaking of Lacey, he's moved his way back up to 12th.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Cantu, on the other hand, has dropped down to 13th.
Can't tell who came into the pits there.
Well, sure, we'll find out in a moment. Whoop, popping out, the number 16.
Lacey trying everything. Goes to the right, goes to the left, comes out, trying the over-under, but it looks like he's going to be able to hold it.
And he has done. And Ben, great to see also people like Wyszynski. You'll know this from SVRA. We've got a junior category now, which is now coming to its own next year. So it just takes drivers that are a little younger, that aren't ready to go to Formula 4, and gives them a chance to learn what this car's all about.
Or aren't allowed. There are FIA rules to the age. Eric Wisniewski, Ava Dobson.
That's right.
Kind of early adopters of that. And next year, I think we have already
Costello.
8. Oh, no.
Well, that's well, he knows it. That's put paid to his hope of coming second in the championship. And, yep, he's out of here. He's going to get his bike. He's on his bike, and he's out of here. I feel for him. Titus Sherlock in 5th place at the moment has just been given a freebie. What a shame. Lovely kid, too. He was in the commentary booth. Now, look at this. The two international boys are going international. Toto Schreiber has taken the lead away from Ariel Elkin, and Elkin doesn't like it much.
He doesn't. Now he's taking a different line. He takes the inside there.
Go on, Ariel. Nobody told him the rules here. He's taking lines that not even Verstappen was taking.
Look at that. Now side by side, Jonathan.
Oh, this is great racing. The 2 international motorsport boys. Look at this. Line astern for now out of 18 into 19. And they are going for it. Their team manager must be hating this, but this is great for us watching. And I spoke to Ariel, and he said, hey, I got a bunch of people watching in Israel, which is great for him. So they're watching on. And his dad's dealership in Haifa helping make the sponsorship.
Now, what is he allowed to do as far as blocking goes?
This is where it's interesting, because he is pushing the limits here. If somebody's actually overtaking, you can make 1 aggressive maneuver to defend. You can't make 2 or 3. You can't sweep from side to side. If somebody comes up the inside of you and shows you a wheel, which is kind of what Oggie's doing right now, you can't make too many moves. Now, I'm not a race director, but we'll find out. Scott Goodyear's the man to ask that question. But at the moment, I think I haven't seen anything untoward, put it that way. So I think it's okay for now. But I bet you he raised
the eyebrows in the steward's office. Yes. You know, I'm sure that now they're on notice, and they're going to see what happens this next run. But coming into turn 11, this is who gets the best drive off of turn 11, can get behind the draft. If Augie can get right behind him, he could probably try to make another move going into 12 and into the Mission Foods Stadium complex. Let's see what happens here coming down.
Look at these 3 behind, because they're having their own battle, which is great. But 3rd, 4th, and 5th, you can see them there, are not far behind either. So if they keep this up, and one of them, of course, is our champions, Woods Toth, who's leading this group of 3. So it's Woods Toth, Kara, and Sherlock, all capable of winning races if these 2 keep doing this, which is great to watch, but it's slowing them down as back into the lead goes the 18, Ariel Elkin.
Yeah, it seems like all that you were talking about, how they were working together early on in the race. It doesn't seem like that's happening anymore, and you're right. What just happened going into turn 12 slowed both of these drivers down to bring the other cars right up in there, and if they keep this going for the next 11 and a half minutes, we might see a great battle.
This is really great. I'm loving this. And, of course, we're watching that clock, because will decide exactly when that white flag comes out. But there was nothing between these 2. This is awesome.
Look at that. Unbelievable as they come down this main straight. Let's see what happens here. The movement as they go into Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers turn 1. What's going to happen, Jonathan?
Well, as you can see, a bit of defensive driving by the Israeli. He looks at his mirrors, but he doesn't need to, because now he's side by side with his teammate Toto Schreiber, trying everything in the book. And he can't get past. And I got the feeling that Toto Schreiber, if he could get past, could pull away. I just think he's a little bit quicker. Now we'll see through the S's here, and from above, under the bridge they'll come into 3.
But you're right. 3rd, 4th, and 5th, they're coming up right
quickly,
behind
aren't they? You can hear the tires squealing underneath them. They are pushing to the very limit, folks. Great racing. Really impressive. And we are going to have a 5-way battle in a moment. And if they're not careful, it'll be a 9-way battle.
Yeah.
But this is getting good. Down towards 11 again. Nothing between the international motorsport guys. Something's got to give. And right now, Woods Toth is dragging a 3-way army closer and closer to the leaders. I'm just looking at the lap times in the last few laps, and Woods Toth did a 2:16.4 last time out, and that compares to a 2:17.6.
Side by side.
Oh, this is great stuff. So, Toto Schreiber has the advantage. Ariel trying to dip out of the sunlight. Almost side to side. Does the switchback. Does he get the drive? Yes, he does. But the line is with the 24. coming into the next corner, but he has to give in to Ariel Elkin, who holds the line on the outside and will hold the inside line now at 14 and now 15. But we've got a spinner, a Jay Howard car turned around.
And it looks like full course caution comes out. So, and that car should not take a long time to clear, Jonathan, so we might have a great restart battle here.
Well, there's the international team watching on, rather nervously as you may think.
Yeah.
And, that makes it, like you say, now we've got a full race battle between them all, because that gap that they were trying to catch up with Woodstoft, which was, just over a second, has now come to naught, and now it's all about a restart.
And then, like we saw in the restart earlier today in our FR championship, there's about, what would you say, about 6 lanes going up the hill into turn 1.
And one
apex,
fast,
and then there's maybe 2.5 at the exit.
And by the way, having been in a single-seater at this track, you cannot see that apex until you crest over the hill.
Yeah, it is. It's really weird looking, and we saw what they're going to do in this restart is a rolling start, the number 18, if he's determined by race control to be leading when the caution came out, and I think so. We'll get to kind of decide within a certain parameter when he can get on the gas. But look for 24, but also Patrick Woods-Toth, Daniel Cara, Titus Sherlock, Tyke Durst to all take different lines going into one to see which one plays out the best.
Okay, then we'll take a short break, and when we come back, hopefully we'll get the resumption of this as the sun goes down. It's a showdown in Texas between Israel and Florida.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
You've got a business to run, big and heavy products to ship, and customers who need them now. When you've got the right driver and the right equipment, you can bet on a spectacular result. Bennett understands complex logistics and puts the best team, the most time, and the latest technology into every customer relationship. So you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the race. Let us handle the rest.
Together, we can move anything.
Welcome back to the Circuit of the Americas. The sun has gone down here in little old Elroy, Texas, and we've got a cracking race here to finish the day, and it's led by Israel's Ariel Elkin, his first race in the United States, and it was car number 6 that was stuck on track, and that's Zanbin Jai in the Jay Howard development car. They got him going again now, so off he goes. But he just stalled it, couldn't get it going again, and he might still have stalled it again, but that's the reason we're under caution. But Elkin and Soto Shripo, teammates, and nothing between them. They both shared the lead, and bit by bit, Woodstock, Cara, and Sherlock were all reeling them in, and now they have a huge opportunity at this restart. We've seen plenty of restarts here at COTA over the years, Ben. It's anybody's game, and as you were just saying, you can get 6 wide up the hill, but you march them up to the top of the hill, and then you march them down again.
Yeah, and watch for Jesse Lacey starting in 9th in that SpeedTour blue car to really take some chances here, because I'm guessing he's a little bit upset with himself for the spin there through the Hankook S's, and then it could be anybody's game, but Jesse Lacey back in the points.
Yeah, it's been a good season, and we've had some good talent coming through here. And like I said, just remind us, this is where Kyle Kirkwood, now an Indy star, started. This is where Dakota Dickerson, so many others, Raul Hyman, going on from F4 to FR, and that's the next stage. Next year it'll be a new car. And remember, the new car, we've seen it tested at VIR by Ryan Yardley, another FR driver, former driver, another Kiwi. But he tested it, and it's a beautiful looking car. And he's coming, I think it might be retirement time for the 6. So unfortunately, he's given up the ghost. But yeah, this is the scenario I really didn't want for these drivers, is that these tires are now getting cooler and cooler and cooler.
And the sun is going down, the track is getting shadier and shadier. We're seeing there the camera operators are zeroing in on Jesse Lacey, because I expect him to try to take 2 or 3 positions by the time he gets up to the top of the hill.
What about Daniel Quimby, new to the series this time out, the Australian in 7th. You mentioned Lacey. He's been here all year and has already had a win. And Jesse Lacey looking for, like you say, a really good restart here.
So where is he going to get on the gas to start this? Strategically, where would you tell him?
You know, it's a tough one. I would actually be very careful here, because if I was smart, I'd know that turn 20 is going to be a little bit tough. So I wouldn't want to be powering into 20 right now and pushing too hard out of that corner. I would literally wait to the apex here and then literally get to that corner and drive as fast as I could as soon as I see that apex. And that's exactly what he's done, pretty much. And away he goes.
Good
3
lead.
minutes to go, and that was a great takeoff by Elkin. Has a quick look in the mirrors, and his teammate's still there. Meanwhile, Toff under pressure now from the number 10 of Cara, who gets sideways for a moment. Daniel Cara from Woodlands in Texas, but gathers it all together. But out front, Ariel Elkin continues to lead. Now we should get the white flag next time by, but this is going to be, you can see that they're pushing and the tires are starting to slide underneath him. There's not a lot of grip out there in these cold and cooler conditions after that slowdown 2 or 3 laps, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few spinners here. We saw some early this morning because they were out at 9 o'clock this morning, and it was similar conditions but for the opposite way, obviously.
Just listening, you can hear the tires really fighting for grip. The sun is basically down, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the turn that's going to be very crucial as they come in. And Augie has closed the gap just a little bit, Jonathan.
Yeah, and you can see this is like the Indy 500. He's trying to avoid the toe, and that's enough for Augie. He comes side by side. It's last of the late breakers, but Ariel holds him off. Good racing between these two. Fair racing as well. This is really good stuff. Now, can Soda Shripo come back at him? He's so close as they come through 13. He's right on his tailpipe.
I'd be really surprised if there wasn't some contact just right there in the Mission Foods complex.
Good drive by Otto Shripo, and he does take the lead because a mistake there. Rare one by Elkin, and look who's caught up. Woods Toff, the champion, right there in 3rd and looking for a win himself. What a race this is turning out to be. F4 putting on a show here in the final rounds.
Now look for that white flag as they come around turn 20 here. And now he's, like you said, Augie's kind of picking up a gap here.
And he needs it. There's the white flag. And they all see it. And now he'll come to the race line, and he'll also try to avoid that slipstream. I don't think, to be honest, Ariel's close enough to get the slipstream.
I don't either. Yeah, he's just far enough behind. Augie pulling a pretty big gap here, but anything can happen going into the Hankook S's. We see Jesse Lacey kind of go out far driver's left, pushing him way out right on the exit.
And Ariel Elkin now has to worry in his mirrors about the man behind him, the champion, Woods Toff from Canada in Quebec. And just behind him, Daniel Cara, who had a moment a few minutes ago. Sherlock, the winner of the first race, is 5th. Quimby 6th. Lacey up to 7th. You were right. Got a good restart. Durst 8th. Juanio in 9th position, and then Cantu, the young Mexican, the 16-year-old, is in 10th position. Martinez, Benavides 12th, Zelenka 13th, Greenmeyer 14th, and Benitez in 15th place.
I think the only option Elkin has here is to get a really good exit out of 11 and try to get that draft better down into 12, and then maybe there's 2 or 3 pass positions left. After that, in my opinion, Jonathan, you may know better.
No, I think you're absolutely right, and it could all go horribly right, but it could go wrong for both the International Motorsport if they try to out-duke each other and out-break each other into 12. Right now, Ariel isn't close enough to get that slipstream, and in fact, he's trying to avoid being slipstreamed himself. Meanwhile, Woods Toff is also trying to avoid that. Here they come. They've sorted themselves out. That was a great straight by Soda Shripa. He's broken the back of this as they come into the stadium section, and that is a great start to the Mission Foods Stadium section for him.
Look at that, Patrick Woods Toff taking a little bit better line there than Elkin. but Elkin defending just fine as they come into now the, what do you call it, the McConaughey section?
The McConaughey complex, I'm calling it. Yeah.
Nice. I love that.
Because it's all right, and all right. So here we go. Last 2 corners, and we've seen an overtake for a win in the FR race previous. It was brilliantly done by Oliver Wessling. And now, here we go, last corner, but it's going to be Augie Soto Shripa of Florida, who takes the win ahead of his teammate at International Motorsport. Ariel Elkin will be disappointed with that because he led for most of the way, but Soto Shripa wins again, and that is excellent stuff by him. Another good result by Woods Toth, another podium for our champion as he extends that lead overall. Cara takes 4th, Sherlock 5th, and Quimby 6th.
I think that's the story, though. Titus Sherlock in 5th.
Actually, another story for you. Lacey, the one Australian in 6th place, beat the other Australian, Quimby, for 6th place. Oh, that had plenty, didn't it?
It did, yeah. That was really good racing. So proud of the drivers in F4. Lots of fun to watch. And it's really neat now coming late into the season like this to really see the development that's happening. This really just a short season, and I attribute that to the staff, especially Scott Goodyear. I've never met another professional driver with somebody with the accolades of Scott Goodyear that really does care so much about driver development and character, and this not just drivers on the track, the whole shebang to be a professional race car driver. If you have a teenage son or daughter wanting to get into racing, I would definitely look at this because they're in very good hands with Mr. Goodyear and his staff.
Yeah, and he works for a day like today where it's good. There's the sun. It's great. They really do work for a day like this because it's good racecraft. Obviously, it's a expensive sport. You want to get as many laps in as possible. It's the end of the day. The sun's going down. You don't want safety car after safety car. You want good racing. They get good experience that way, and they show good racecraft. That's all that Scott Goodyear wants from it, and we can take a look then at the results as the sundown showdown finishes with Augusto Soto Shripa of International Motorsport beating his teammate Ariel Elkin, who started from the pole. Our champion, Patrick Woods Toth of Quebec in Canada, takes 3rd. Then it's Daniel Cara of Cara Origin Motorsports in 4th. Titus Sherlock of Prosper, Texas takes 5th. Another Crosslink driver, Jesse Lacey, in 6th place, just beating Daniel Quimby on the last lap for Doran Motorsports. Tyke Durst 8th. Kekai Huanio, I'm going to get it right, in 9th position. Christian Cantu of Scuderia Buell in 10th position. Well, that was fun, Ben Sissel. That's what we wanted. And we just got it in before we're going to lose light fairly quickly, but we'll get the podium in, I'm sure. And Mr. Phippen will be hurtling down there. But a good day's racing. And just quickly, Ben, it's all happening tomorrow. SVRA in action.
Yeah, we've got SVRA. Everybody's going to be finalizing their championships because Sunday we have the national championship and the helmet awards going out, and then Sunday we also have some Trans Am races.
What are the helmet awards? Tell
that
the
is the Gold Bell helmet is the Vintage Racing National Championship, the most coveted trophies in vintage racing. But look at the celebration happening here. One of my favorites to see here on the podium. I can't wait to hear John Phippen and the interview that we get from, how do you say his name?
Soto Shripa.
See, that's awesome. He's so excited. I'm sure his family's here. You're going to see lots of hugs.
That's the team boss. I think that's Dad. But that's great. That's really good. And he's been on the podium already, and now he takes it to the win. There's the smile. And in a moment, John Phippen will grab the mic. Here, I can see him at the corner of my eye, making his way.
And look at this.
And this
I bet you they had a blast.
Yeah, that was good. That's nice. That's nice to see. Good teamwork, and obviously they work together as teammates. And, yeah, that's what you want to see at the end of a race. And let's head down to John Phippen, who's got our winner, Soto Shripa.
Augie Soto Shripa, we've been bragging on you all weekend long. You've had a fantastic last couple of rounds of racing. Your 4th win on the season. How does it feel?
I mean, how can it feel? It feels great. I'm super happy. A year ago, I wouldn't think I'd be here, so just being here is an honor. Look at this guy. I'm really proud of my teammate. 1-2 for the team. First time ever we bring 2 cars, and we made it work. I'm over the moon right now, man.
Yeah, Ariel led most of the race, but you had a little something for him on the last lap.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good driver, man. He has a lot of experience. We raced hard. Most importantly, both cars made it here. That was the deal, so we did it.
Congratulations.
You appreciate it.
4-time winner, Jonathan.
Doesn't get any better than that, and there's not that many winners from the Formula 4 this year with the domination of Woods Toth, so congratulations to him. 4 wins for Soda Shripa, and you can tell how much it meant to him and the team. Now, there's the family, I think. Well, my thanks to Ben Sissel and to all my guest commentators that have been here today. That concludes our first day of action here. My thanks to Greenlight Television and everybody involved in the production, everybody making way home as the sun sets here in jolly old Texas. Until tomorrow, from me, Jonathan Green, goodbye for now.
Everything in our garage is inspired by our racing spirit. Race in for a great deal on the Honda CR-V. Only at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event.